Hello there everybody, it's Spy92 aka Nightmare, and I apologize for last week. I know I was supposed to be doing another episode of DS Irae as well as Higurashi, but unfortunately I had a bit of a sore throat problem, and I'm only now finally just kind of starting to get over it, finally. Well,
at least I can finally do my voices without having a coughing.
Having a bit of a coughing fit. Okay, so a couple of things. A bunch of you guys were kind of give me a little bit of a warning that there will be a little bit more of the whole epileptic thing, so just to be safe, I actually have my sunglasses on, which is going to be kind of weird, and they shall remain on until they disappear. Basically. Despite its humanoid appearance, the being's sheer speed would no doubt make anyone reconsider whether or not to call it human. And it wasn't merely running fast. It left blossoming flowers of blood in its wake, wielding an invisible blade with the range of several dozen meters that slaughtered all living creatures in its path. None were spared. Men and women, the young and old, animals and children. All were indiscriminately massacred using the exact same method. Decapitation. That whirlwind of death was like a giant guillotine beheading all in its path. Her arms, spread like wings, would slay all those caught in their embrace. Oh, her. For this was no weapon, but an instrument existing only to execute. Created for the sole purpose of killing, it held no other role. A weapon's essence could shift depending on the wielder's intentions, yet this one remained unchanged due to its sheer simplicity, its identity the same in anyone's hands. As such, to find it so thoroughly without peers in the art of murder was no doubt a natural consequence. However, that being was currently under pursuit. Fuck! A giant, lance-like stake from above blew up a passing car. Yet, mysteriously enough, the accord pierced by the telephone... The accord? By the telephone pole-sized stake turned into a rusted heap of iron moments before it exploded. Its passengers aged into mummies before they could even burn to death. My god, how many people are gonna die? Oh god, that's him, isn't it? Standing atop the stake, thrust into the ground like a gravestone, was the man with fluttering long hair and a face as pale as grave wax. A system of strung up like vein-like lines rushed up the stake and spread throughout the man's body from his feet. He absorbed it all. Gasoline, water, blood, all the nutrients of the stake's victims, as well as the souls they acquired to function. Wilhelm sneered as he watched his prey continue to run without stopping. Oh my god! That was cool! Yet another stake borne to the asphalt, one that Willem used as footing to dash forward. He was not even half as fast as his prey. Yet despite that, the sheer difference between the length of their steps was enough for the ivory demon to rapidly close the distance. All those dozen or so meter-length stakes were growing out of his feet, acting as extensions. Through his own body was the size of an average man. A single step from him could cover a colossal distance. Naturally, he did not look back upon whatever he crushed under his feet, for in Wilhelm's eyes, humans and their creations were equal to mere insects. Not a single murder had occurred this week. The popular spots of the town, adorned by bright lights, attracted many a visitor, even at such a late hour. And no, they all indiscriminately fell victim to the guillotine stakes. The bridge was stained crimson with blood. Ironically enough, that illuminated carpet of vermilion found not a shred of its radiance tarnished, and instead possessed a ghastly kind of beauty. And then, within that landscape, something else that could be called both a nightmare and a sick jest occurred. The very earth trembled, a series of profound sounds shaking the very foundation of the bridge. Oh! Was that Rusalka? It was a wheel. That was the only way to explain it. That 5-meter wide object chased the being in front of it as its sinister spikes ate into the asphalt. The absurdity and irrationality of this device, mowing down humans and cars alike, grinding them into ruts, could no longer be simply laughed off. The wheel, wrapped up in screams and fresh blood as it rotated faster, was a colossal instrument of torture, reminiscent of the tools used in the days of the Inquisition. Because nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition! A girl stood atop it like a torturer emerged from the depths of hell.
今日はまた随分と見境ないのね。私も派手な方が好きだけど。
Her tone carried a mix of joy, excitement, and scarlet cajolery.
あなたはいつもそうやって私たちを見下してるのね。未だに自分が上だとでも思っているつもりかしら。
After she wheezed out her next
いい
words,
わ、私が試してあげる。追いかけっこを続けましょう。ただし、まがいものだったらただじゃ済まさないからね。
oh boy. The Nachrezer spread out in all directions from the tracks left behind by the wheel. It covered the bridge in a flash and devoured every last corpse and wrecked car, leaving nothing behind. I'm probably not going to be able to pronounce some of these, so I will give them the good old Sobata flair in a very horrible mispronunciation. The act was absurd and extreme beyond belief, silencing all witnesses and destroying the evidence in a single sweep of one-sided genocide. Indeed, once the scale reached that level of absurdity, any man of common sense would be hard-pressed to label this phenomena as anything other than inexplicable.
お前も毎度ご苦労だな。細かすぎると老けるぜ、マレウス。
そう思うなら少しは気を使ってほしいわね。
The Crimson Witch and the Ivory Knight continued to lay waste to the streets, spreading carnage while concealing everything in their path. Oh god, I started going to an accent, sorry. In sharp contrast to those extremely lewd acts, their conversation was one of a graceful stroll. One inhuman being pursuing the other. Common sense had long since breathed its last, with all those bound by a dead. It felt more like a step into another dimension. Where the hell's Kasumi? Wait, no, it can't be. From the very air they breathed to the smallest speck of dust on the ground, the place had transformed into a battlefield of supernatural entities, commanded by rules far removed from the shackles of the ordinary. The two pairs of eyes, each glimmering in a wicked light, finally closed in enough to perceive their target's back.
追いついたぜ。そこ動くなよ。
Okay!
ちょっと痛いけど我慢しなさい。
Oh! On that order, a stake about as wide as an adult's waistline shot out of Wilhelm's right palm like a cannonball, while a bundle of chains armed with rivets jutted out of Rusalka's shadow all at once. Would their target be skewered, or would they be caught and ripped in two? Naturally, they did not believe this would be enough to finish their prey off. They were up against the substitute of Mercurius, the former vice commander. Even if their prey made a mistake, it probably wouldn't be enough to kill it. And then if said prey could actually be taken out this easily, it would have been completely useless to their purpose to begin with. If their prey was going to die, it would do well to die fast. They would never allow powerless, inferior scum to be a part of the glorious Obsidian Round Table. In that sense, all of their attacks were dead serious. They were still on Yetzira degree, a level below their true power. But other than that, their dance of death remained devoid of even the tiniest speck of restraint. A normal person would die instantly. An attack from a weaponized Ananerbe would slay all, even spirits without bodies. Humans, demons, or gods, it mattered little. They would exterminate all that stood in their path. No method existed that could nullify a strike from an Ananerbe wielded by war demons like them. As such, they anticipated the following. Their prey would survive, but would not escape unscathed. Even if it poured its entire being in defense or evasion, their prey would still sustain a grave injury. And when that moment came, the pair would seize the opportunity and capture it. Other than being a tactically sound plan, they most likely had no other way to keep their target alive. However, the last thing they expected was their prey to see two attacks. They would certainly kill anything they hit, and take them head on without even trying to dodge. Oh! To counter a pursuer without so much as considering evasion or defense was an act that went beyond mere recklessness and into the realm of sheer insanity. Who on this planet Earth would seriously prioritize wounding the attacker instead of trying to dodge the bullet? However, that counter, bordering on sheer madness, was enough to send Wilhelm and Rusalka flying back a few dozen meters, placing them out of shooting range. Their previous attack ended up being less than effective, too. Their target may have been injured, yet that applied to the two of them as well. Unlike their foe, who had prepared for this outcome, they'd taken unexpected damage. In other words, if one were to look at the situation objectively,
やられた。今のはこっちの負けね。
they could no longer catch their target. They'd been given the slip. No other way to put it.
肉を切らせて骨を断つか。あんまり好きな思考じゃないわね。この国の価値観に毒されちゃったのかしら。どう思う？
知るかよ。
Wilhelm's begrudging tone and demeanor hid very little of his rage at being humiliated.
うぞマレウス。野郎も無傷じゃねえ。今夜中に片付けてやる。
Oh boy.
分かってるわよ。こんな目に遭わされて黙ってられるものですか？
Probably not. An injury inflicted by an Irae was no ordinary wound. The concepts accumulated within them over countless years turned both into a curse and a lethal venom. In fact, its sting was even more effective against wretched foes like them. Rusalka's face warped into a wry smile.
痛いわ。私泣いてしまいそうよ。耐えられない。ねえベイ、あなたもそうでしょ。こんな痛い思いなんてこの60年してなかったからどうしていいかわからないわよ。
ああ、痛いよな。だがよマレウス。
A long forgotten sensation. It might have felt good to effortlessly slaughter thousands, but this was the true essence of waging war. They felt the tension and exaltation that only a battle to the death, with each side's entire being on the line, could offer. After having gone so long without a worthy opponent, they appeared to have almost forgotten what it meant to put their lives on the line. The glamour and glory of the battlefield. The spark of a dying flame following a clash of souls. Ah, the sheer beauty and ecstasy of it all. How grateful they felt to be once again reminded of it. Even scorching pain would be a nectar most sweet to them.
感じさせてもらおうぜ。まだ始まったばかりじゃねえか。
そうよねベイ。まさかあの子だとは思わなかったけど。
Oh! Are you telling me that it's Kasumi? Wilhelm and Rusalka, who had already gotten used to opening their so-called third eyes, a type of vision differing from normal sight, during each battle could easily discern a person's identity without even looking at their face by examining the color of their soul. Furthermore, the color they spotted in vivid detail was one of sinister magic, with a series of vicious and indiscriminate slashes being launched in all directions from its epicenter.
発動箇所は体の末端。射程は20メートル弱で近いほど威力が上がる。典型的な融合型の力任せね。パッと見はあなたに似てるわ。
The fusion type?
でもそれだけじゃねえだろうよ。野郎のエイビヒカイとは一人だけ趣旨が違う。なんせ本家本元だからな。まあ、どの道捕まえればはっきりするか。
They say fusion type. Did me and Kasumi fuse? Huh. So I guess technically that means we completed Kasumi's route?
行こうぜ。
Wilhelm and Rusalka commenced their pursuit once again, their regenerating wounds emitting red smoke. Not a trace remained of the carnage and destruction that took place upon the bridge. The dozens of citizens killed tonight would no doubt be dismissed as simply having gone missing. Normal people by nature couldn't hope to comprehend inhuman principles. nor could they understand its suffering. It's cold, freezing, and it hurts. Its thoughts scattered into disorder, left at the mercy of a torrent of negative emotions, like someone caught drowning in a venomous ocean's whirlpool. In the end, it could no longer maintain its sanity. Or rather, where did sanity end and insanity begin? If the ability to restrain oneself was the sole determining factor, then one had no choice but to say that it had been insane from the start. It wasn't driven by a desire to kill. It didn't wish to, but neither could it stop. Why was that? It could no longer distinguish between the objective and the subjective, almost like it possessed multiple heads. It was freezing, and it hurt. Tremendously so. No doubt a natural result of having been submerged in the cold winter waters. Yet, by the time its face broke the water's surface, the pursuer's presence had already faded. It had successfully shaken them off. It began to swim pathetically, panting like a wild beast. There was no longer any feeling in its arms, not due to the cold, but rather than frenzy from earlier, straining its limbs to the extreme. With slender hands that looked like they could barely hurt a fly, it sliced apart numerous people in cars, then fought 2 others. Dear God! It vomited up blood. It didn't appear to have external injuries, but the chills that accumulated in its gut, like mud in a ditch, wouldn't go away, nor did the pain, that matter, which felt akin to a molten hot chain wrapping around one's legs. They were all the after effects of its battle from a short while ago. Wilhelm and Rusalka, their attacks had left a curse that smoldered still in its body, leaving it in a state where even swimming proved a toil. Suffering in agony, it pushed its way through waters that felt as heavy as mercury before finally reaching the wharf. Why did the tears refuse to stop, trickling ceaselessly down its cheeks? Were they out of pain, fear, or joy? With the answer nowhere in sight, it clawed up the wharf with enough strength to knock off its nails, creating cracks in the wet concrete. The act went beyond superhuman strength, entering the realm of the outright inhuman. That power whispered, "This wasn't enough. Cut, 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 cut. More, 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 more." It crawled its way out of the ocean, laughing as if stimulated by that very voice. This wasn't enough. It had to cut more and more. It had to devour more and more. It had to sacrifice more and more. He needed to get strong, so she had to pull her weight. She would be his strength. She would help him. That wish meant everything. She could think of nothing else. But when and why did she begin to think that doing this sort of thing was okay?
なるほど。
Hmm?
つまりカドケウス。頭が2つで必要に応じ首から上が切り替わる。そういうからくりだったのですね。すっかり騙されましたが、これで全て説明がつく。問題はどちらが主体なのかですが。
CADUCEUS.
あなたはどう思われますか？
さて、正直迷うところですね。
The sickening sound of breaking neck bones. Deliria Tarifa! What a faint smile as his companion stomped on the security guard she had knocked out, robbing him of life.
だがどちらにせよ、すぐに答えが出るでしょう。見なさい。これが彼らの生物。まだ完全に同化はしてないようですが、それも時間の問題でしょうね。わかりますか？
Oh my, okay.
はい。
The blade of the guillotine on display was now soaked with blood. No doubt it belonged to tonight's victims.
同調が進んでいます。予想より早かったですが、もう餌は足りたということでしょうか。
Wait, do I have to eat people to get my power? That's like rated R Soul Eater right there.
まあ、ここは11年前、 キルヒアイゼン教が倒れた場所でもありますからね。彼女と彼女が集めた魂を上乗せしているのかもしれません。であれば数的な問題はない。これでおそらく一つ目のスワスチカが完成する。殺し役の方は先ほどベイとマレウスが接敵しながら取り逃がしたそうですよ。彼らの性格上素直に言うことを聞くとは思えませんが、こうなると連れ戻した方が良さそうですね。
Probably you should.
では私が。
いえ、ここは私が何とかしましょう。あなたが言っては余計にこじれかねないし。ああ、そんな顔をするものではありませんよ。彼らは優秀な兵士ですが、それゆえに積み上げた年月を誇りに思っているだけです。この60年で副首領閣下を超えたという証を立てるのが何より大事なのでしょう。だから流行る気持ちを抑えられない。まあ何にせよ結構ではないですか。戦いに身を置く者としてその気概は大事です。どのみち競い合いはしなければならないのだし、私はそれを全力で行えるよううまく場を整えるのが仕事です。あなたに手伝わせてしまったのは不徳の致すところですが、それもしばらくの辛抱ですから。ここにスワスチカを完成させ、ハイドリヒ教らを呼び戻す。副首領閣下もそのために己の代理を使わしているのでしょうし、ここは静観しておきましょう。
So I'm guessing that that's supposed to be my relic, huh?
術の発動条件が私の予想通りならば、どうせすぐに戦となる。
わかりました。
Kay drew a step back.
でしたらゲイか、私は事の顛末を見届けてきます。それから
After throwing a glance at the dead security guard at her feet, she went on in a low tone.
この処理もしておきますので、なるべく自重してください。あなたも本心では暴れたくて仕方がないようですから。
確かに。
The priest freely sounded a chuckle of self-mockery. He then produced a cell phone from his pocket, a truly unsuitable item for this place, and began dialing.
ああ、私です。そちらの様子はどうですか？ええ。はい。なるほど。それは頂上。でしたらあとは。
Noting that her conversation with the priest was over, Kay moved away to pick up the body.
申し訳ありませんが、シュピーネ。あなたの裁量でベイとマレウスを抑えてください。私からの命令だと。はい。そういうことで構いませんので。
So Speen had arrived as well. Considering Wilhelm's claim that he'd take another 2 or 3 days, he seemed awfully fast. Still, perhaps that had all been according to the plan. Is Speen Schreiber? Or... no, wait. Maybe it's somebody else. Sorry. Well, whatever the
いよ
case.
いよきな臭くなってきたわね。
Kay began to walk off, leaving the priest behind to keep talking cheerfully on his phone. She couldn't completely trust Speen, but he would likely stop them if ordered. With Wilhelm and Rosalka temporarily out of the way, this proved to be a favorable opportunity for Kay to act independently. The substitute of Mercurius, vice commander of the Longinus Dreisen Orden. It would probably be best for her to confirm its awakening. The clock had struck midnight. If she hurried, she would have just enough time to make it.
約束するよね。
How many hours had it been since I'd hesitated over that question? Oh, we're back here? When I came to, I was lying on a park bench. What happened? Why was I all alone in a place like this? Checking the time, I found that it was already 20 minutes past midnight. 2 hours since I'd last done so. It couldn't be. How did that happen? I forced my brain to operate at full power in an attempt to make sense of this whole situation. Right.
かすみ
Where was she? Looking around, I found the place completely deserted. Oh, you had to be kidding me. It was almost like... The moment I attempted to stand, I felt pain akin to an electric current rushing through my entire body. All my muscles creaked for some reason. I honestly had no idea why. It shouldn't have been related to sleep. I mean, it felt like I'd abused my power past its limits. Did that mean I ended up doing the same thing as before? Which meant I robbed Kasumi of her.
いや
Don't go thinking that! That couldn't be true. Oh, no. I did no such thing. Like hell I could ever kill Kasumi. She had to be okay. I was certain of it. There was no blood around me, and her screams could wake the dead. I obviously would have been no exception.
そうだ
I'd find her. I didn't know why she was not here, but it was probably related to the fact I fainted. She must have gone to call for a doctor or something. That had to be it. It was not entirely nice of her to leave me all alone in a place like this, but this was all my fault. I'd find her as quick as I could, convince her I was okay, put up with her usual antics and lectures, then go back home. That was all I had to do. No big deal. We could then return to our usual day-to-day lives. So I had to stand. Shouting that to myself, I spurred my creaking body to stand up. How far could she have gone in the 2.5 hours I'd spent blacked out? Despite feeling like I was just about ready to fall over, I started staggering forward. My thoughts were assailed by white noise, my sight scrambled by a sandstorm. My head felt like it could split open. I kept ignoring the creaking in my body, only for my brain to start boiling. Now I couldn't even think straight. What kind of places would Kasumi go to? What were the closest hospitals? No, first of all, was there a more efficient way to look for someone? I wasn't in some historical drama. There was no need for me to run around town like a headless chicken in order to find a missing person. Here in the 21st century, we use a simpler and more certain method. So I'd use that right here, right now. Seriously, what kind of dumbass was I to pretend not to know about it? I mean, that made it sound like I was scared of seeing her, right? Scared of Kasumi? Seriously? Scared of that stupid and helplessly simple childhood friend I'd grown to treat more like a sister than a woman? I'm talking about the same girl who came over every morning to wake me up with her own volition, would always cook meals for me that were neither amazing nor inedible, and was both extremely clingy and frank. Why would I ever be scared of seeing someone like her? It's being ridiculous. Absurd. This anxiety was completely unwarranted. I needed to just do it and get it over with. Enduring the splitting headache, I slowly lifted my still trembling hand. All I had to do was stick that hand into my coat pocket and pull out my cell phone. Then I'd call her and everything would be fine. Hearing her usual lively voice would put an end to all this. So why was I hesitating this much? What was I so scared of? I hadn't harmed Kasumi at all. I would never do that. Not even if heaven and earth turned upon themselves. But the fact that it was my instincts and not my rational mind that was rejecting this meant that meeting Kasumi would put me and not her in danger. Agitated by that train of thought, I slammed my forehead into a streetlight with the kind of force that could very well split my head open. Sparks flashed before my eyes, followed by the sensation of lukewarm blood flowing through me. Damn it! So I wasn't just dreaming all this. That shock wiped away all the white noise out of me. The sandstorm, too, had begun to vanish due to my blacked-out vision. I'm down. I had to calm down, and fast. In any case, my senses had returned to me. The numb pain spread from my forehead to the rest of my body, gradually jolting my bodily functions awake. As I sluggishly reopened my eyes... Oh. Rain? It looked like it began to rain at some point. I didn't notice up until now, but my whole body was drenched. I must have been lying here for quite some time. I gripped my cell phone and began to reflect as the rainfall cooled my seething brain. I've been through many strange things over the past couple days. The relationship between the nightmares and the killer. A guillotine, severed heads, spattering blood. Though I witnessed someone getting killed, there was no blood covering my surroundings. Strange. Objectively, it lacked any sense of reality, like I was watching a movie. It was an uncomfortable sensation, like I was looking through someone else's eyes. What was Kasumi Ayase doing during that time? Dropping tableware, a morning where she was usually unusually understanding. Her unnatural training regiment, the destroyed training dummy, the bent bamboo sword, her dumbfounded face, her violent behavior. Physical strength that no woman could exhibit. Slender arms only a woman could have. The abnormality of all this only occurring when I fell asleep. There are many hints, yet I was stupid enough to ignore every single one of them. Sakurai, Rusalka, Wilhelm, Zarathustra. The swapped head. Two heads. Intertwined, influencing the other yet never facing one another. Much like the sun and the moon, light and shadow. When one awoke, the other fell into slumber. One moved when the other's will came to the surface. A disassembling of individuality. An extremely convenient system where one controlled the other without either ever realizing their own acts. CADUCEUS, the staff of intertwining snakes. In other words, that meant...
殺す役と食らう役が二手に分かれていたということ。
Oh shit.
サンが殺してあなたが魂を蓄える。結果強くなるのはあくまであなたで、彼女はそのための道具に過ぎない。なるほど。吸血鬼と下僕の関係によく似ている。お見事。実に趣味が悪くて手段を選ばない策に私は感激しているわ。まさか一つの生異物に複数の使徒をストックするなんて。そんなことが可能だとは思わなかったし、少なくとも私たちには真似できないわね。副首領閣下の力にコンプレックスを抱いているベイやマレウスなんかには認めたくなかった事実と言える類でしょ。
Sakurai. Long as she'd been there. As I lay there on my knees, she simply looked down on me, her expression bereft of sympathy or emotion.
ということだから藤井君、あとはあなたの好きにしなさい。
何？
言ったでしょ、この鬼ごっこ。1回戦目は私たちの乾杯みたい。勝者のあなたは堂々と景品を受け取ればいい。私は祝福しているのよ。負けず嫌いの年寄りたちがつまらない劣等感にこだわりすぎるのは迷惑だったし、これでようやくまっとうにゲームを始めることができそうだから。
Well, color me surprised. I didn't know you were capable of smiling.
実際あなたがまだ弱い時に苛立った誰かが暴発するというのが一番良くない展開だったの。新参者の私以外はみんな副首領閣下を病的に恐れていたから。ネズミを捕まえるのに象打ち用のライフルを持ち出しかねない。そういう意味でこの展開は理想的。どうしても弱い時期ができるならさらに分裂させて弱すぎる域にまで落としてしまう。そうしておけばまずこちらのレーダーにかからないから。事実私もベイもマレウスも一度あなたを見逃しているし、怪しいとは思っても確信が持てない。そうして後手を踏んでいるうちに分けたものを一つに戻してそれなりの域に上げてしまう。ほんともう一度言うけど見事な手並みね。私たちの気象を理解した上で手玉に取ってる。正直だから。
Whoops. Sorry.
待てよ。
I interrupted before Sakurai could babble on any longer.
いきなり現れてさっきから何言ってるんだお前。俺は全然意味が。
わからないなんて嘘。もう気づいているんでしょ。ぼっとしてないで携帯かけてみればいいじゃない。景品もきっとあなたが来るのを待っているわよ。涙ぐましいじゃない。いつもあなたが寝ている間にあなたを強くしようと手を汚してくれるなんて。たとえ操り人形だとしてもそうそうできることじゃない。
私はあんたの味方だよ。
まあ初めて会ったあの時はあなたも無遊病していたみたいだけど。
辛い時は頼ってほしいな。
それ自体深いところじゃ薄々感づいていたっていう証拠なんじゃないかしら。彼女のことが心配で無意識に眠ったまま後を追ってしまうくらいなんだし。結果、時が来るまで隠れ蓑に守られているべきあなたが私たちと接触したのは、まあイレギュラーといえばイレギュラーよね。本来ならあの時怖い目に遭うのは彼女の方だったはず。
私はレンの力になりたいよ。
そう考えると多分殺し役はいくらでも替えが利くのね。レイやマレウスがやりすぎて殺しても次の夜には新しい首切り役人が誕生している。あなたはそれを自分が出張ることで未然に防いだ。自己犠牲愛ってやつかしら。今だって若干のダメージを共有しているみたいだし。察するにその直前、起きてる時に二人の絆を確認し合うようなイベントでもあったんじゃ。
勝手にいなくなるなよ、旅人さん。
黙れ。
What the hell was she even saying? She looked so smug when she said it too. Just who in the world was she talking about?
言ったでしょ。わからないなんて嘘。認めなさいよ。1+1は2になるの。それを否定するのはバカのやること。
俺はバカでいい。
バカが相手じゃ困るわね。
I'd rather not have you for an opponent!
あなた、そんなことで戦えるとでも思っているの？まさか私たちが殺人犯の退治に来たとでも思っているんじゃないでしょうね。別に誰が何人殺そうが知ったことじゃないわよ。私たちはね、戦争をしに来たの。そのためにあなたが欲しい。だから乗ってもらうわよ、藤井君。もうあなたにとっての日だまりなんかこの世界のどこにもない。上の意向次第ですぐに開戦となるかはわからないけど、遅かれ早かれあなたと私たちは敵対する。そのために最低限力をつけてもらわないといつまでたっても勝負が実装できないじゃない。まずは景品を受け取って2になって3になって4になって5になって、そうしてくれないと私も困るし。
How long does she plan to keep on rambling about this bullshit?
お前の事情なんか知ったことかよ。
じゃあここで1のまま死ぬ？何度も言うけど私以外の年寄りたちはコンプレックスの塊よ。あなたがコンマ1以下でも叩き潰して自分が上だと証明をしたがってる。この先こんな絶好のレベルアップチャンスがそう何回もあるとは思わない方がいい。あなたに甘い生産杯芸家だって塩を送るのはあと一度くらいが限度でしょうね。それを超えれば私はともかくベイやマレウスが絶対に暴走する。そうなった時多分標的はあなただけじゃ済まなくなるわよ。彼女も当然その中には含まれていて。
Everyone around me would be targeted by these psychos.
この街が地図から消える。
黙れって言ってんだろ。
Though I made an attempt to grab her, Sakurai gracefully dodged it, putting some distance between us. She then heaved a bored sigh before continuing her monologue in a tone of indifference.
それを止めたいなら早く2になってしまえばいい。あなたがそうなることで彼女も普通に戻るだろうし。男の専売特許じゃない。女から奪い取ってものにするのは。
No?
私たちが種に気づいてしまった以上もう二手に分かれている意味はないし。 これから先はあなたが一人でやればいい。彼女のことを思うなら殺し役をさっさと廃業させてあげなさい。それが終わるまでは浮気しちゃダメよ、藤井君。抱きしめるなら私より彼女が先ね。
The fuck, dude?
ちょっと焼けるけどそこは譲るわ。だってあの子、あなたが1週間も禁欲なんかしていたせいで暴発しちゃったんだから。追いかけて抱きしめて慰めてあげないと男が廃るってものじゃないの。
Fuck off!
じゃあ頑張ってかっこいいとこ見せてちょうだい。
待て。
I reached out for her again, but Sakurai vanished before I could grab her. Judging from her final words, she wasn't going back, but rather to keep watch somewhere. Apparently.
くそ。
Hell? What made her think she could just spout off whatever crap she wanted? What was all that shit about a prize or whatever? Seriously.
くそ。
I nearly smashed my cell phone into the ground, but managed to rein in my anger at the last second. Right. Sakura didn't have to say anything. Deep down, I'd already noticed her strange behavior as of late. Still, I couldn't just accept that. If I was to label her insane, then saying that I was crazy seemed a far more reasonable answer. Kasumi was sane. She was different from idiots like Shiro and me. I believed that. Wanted to believe that. And that nature of hers was exactly what made me treasure her more than anyone else. So I couldn't just throw this cell phone away. If I broke it here, it'd be like admitting I was scared to find out the truth. That would be an offense and above all else an insult to Kasumi. I had to put an end to this ridiculous situation to protect her honor. I gritted and ground my teeth hard, causing blood to pour out of my mouth. Ow, that hurt my own mouth. I dialed the number Kasumi gave me earlier, while getting irritated at my finger for shaking from the cold. Come on, hurry up. Please just pick up already. If I can just hear your cheerful voice,
くそ。何してんだあいつ。
Growing impatient, I broke off into a run, the cell phone still ringing in my hand. By doing this, I'd know when I was getting closer to her. This late into the night, the sound of rainfall was the only thing filling my ears. Where was she? Where did she go? I wanted to see her face and hear her voice, to tell her I was okay. I dashed through the streets in the rain for several minutes, my clothes completely drenched. The minutes I'd spent like this could have been either much longer or shorter than how it felt. I'd grown so impatient I could no longer accurately grasp the flow of time. What would I say when I found her? How would I look at her? How was I supposed to act? Could a guy of so few words and feelings like me get across my emotions properly? My body cooled. Heat left me. My breath turned white and my heart raced with impatience. I kept panting and running, only to trip in a puddle of water. I fell pathetically to the ground. I placed my hands on the ground in an attempt to stand up, but my hands were so slippery from the water that it was hard to do. Damn it, what kind of water was this? All sticky, smelly, and heavy like mud. Clothes were dirty. Hands, a mess. What was this eerie sensation? This unsettling color? This red blood like... Why wasn't this a dream? This is neither a hallucination nor an illusion. I wasn't deluded, and I certainly wasn't just imagining things. The scent of rusty iron, particular to blood, pierced my nostrils as I heard that familiar ringtone. What the hell? Was this some kind of a joke? If so, I wasn't laughing. If this pool of blood all belonged to one person, why was her cell phone ringing right next to it?
いや、待てよ。
She must have just dropped her phone around here by accident. She always had been surprisingly clumsy and careless, so that had to be it. Oh god, don't tell me she's dead! She was probably freaking out about it right now, wondering where she had lost it. That had to be what happened. Man, she was such a handful. Oh well, I figured I'd just take it with me and bring it back to her. I'd already grown used to being a victim of her clumsiness anyway. So thanks to that, it'd be harder to find her. Oh well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'd search the entire city all night if I had to. Screw tomorrow's classes. But I had to find Kasumi's phone first. It was probably lying around in those bushes there, no doubt about it. That had to be it. Absolutely no doubt about it at all. But even though I desperately wished for that to be the case. The last morsel of hope I still had left was scattered by her voice, its echo filling my eardrums and cranium. Only one thought still remained in my mind. That there was no God. Even if there was, she had probably long since died. Because if he was still alive, I'd kill him with my own two hands. Had something like this happen. What was I seeing? I felt like gouging out my own eyes, wanting desperately to erase this memory. To me, at the very least, this sight felt equal to the most maddening of nightmares. Dull eyes, a blank expression, a stiff body. My childhood friends soaked in blood and rain. And yet, who was that random person lying there without a head? Jesus! My voice sounded like someone else's, and though it trembled ever so slightly, it remained blindingly clear. About as clear as this whole situation. Someone had died. They'd been murdered. Thoroughly and relentlessly, no doubt. Oh my God! Holy Jesus Christ! Oh boy! No need to lose your head there, Kasumi. Kasumi stood right next to them, her whole body wet with spurts of blood. She was carrying a severed head in one hand. No matter how long one looked at it, there was only one conclusion to be made. Kasumi returned my unbelievably stupid question with a blank stare. She tilted her head to the side, causing the one in her hand to wobble.
お前何もやってないよな。たまたまここでそんな変なの見つけたからなんとなくその好奇心で。
The more I talked, the more I wanted to die. Something not even I believed could never work as my trump card. I felt self-loathing well up in my chest with every word I uttered in a desperate attempt to deny this situation. Good God, girl. God damn it! It had already been set in stone. There was nothing I could do about it. Kasumi Ayase was the killer. But still. So what? I knew her well. Kasumi Ayase was Ren Fuji's childhood friend. She was not someone who would kill dozens of people. Even if her hands had been tainted, I didn't believe that she would ever do that of her own will. According to Sakurai, she was akin to a marionette used to provide me with souls, experience, a puppet.
ただ何が悪いってんだ。
Laws didn't matter. Morals didn't mean a damn. I wouldn't let anyone in this world blame Kasumi. She'd done nothing wrong. On my scales, protecting Kasumi's individual life weighed 1,000,000 times heavier than the chagrin of the murdered, or the pain and sorrow of their bereaved families. They could go to hell for all I cared. The living mattered more than the dead. If I didn't protect her now, another decisive push would be all it took to send her falling. So,
帰ろう、かすみ。風邪ひくぞ。
I've got some good stuff that'll help get the blood out of those clothes. Come on. I stopped dialing Kasumi's number and took a step forward, my guard completely down. I saw no reason to be on alert. Yet something invisible sliced into my cheek. The finale of our prologue draws nigh. I have offered this opera to both my sworn friend and beloved. Go now, my substitute. Become the lead actor and dance upon its stage to your heart's content.
どうして。
What just happened? There were about 5 meters between Kasumi and me, so we couldn't have touched each other physically. And it wasn't like she had thrown anything either. And yet there was blood pouring down my torn cheek. The pain I had felt for but a moment was no doubt caused by a sharp blade of sorts. How in the world did... No, the bigger question was the why of it. Why did Kasumi...
男の専売特許じゃない。女から奪い取って物にするの。これから先はあなたが一人でやればいい。
Sakurai's voice replayed in my head. In other words, I had to stop Kasumi while she was still in this state and prove myself to be the master. I gained some distance between us by instinctively dodging the invisible thing, but the chaos enveloping in my mind had yet to let up.
彼女のことを思うなら、殺し役をさっさと廃業させてあげなさい。
Ugh! Sakurai urged me claim it for myself. If I was to take those words at face value, she probably meant that I had to render Kasumi powerless. And while I would love to do that, even without having to end up in a situation like this. A single glance at Kasumi's dull, unfocused eyes made it clear she was in a trance. The fact that she attacked me in a state like that could only mean that she was being controlled. Unless I cut her strings now, she'd just start killing again. At the very least, I had to prevent that from happening. But... how? Kasumi sluggishly raised her right hand with the same blank expression as before. Okay. Fuck! Another invisible slash. Once again, I relied on my instincts to leap away, but ended up receiving a slash to the chest this time around. And it didn't stop there. 4 more slashes followed. I couldn't quite confirm this due to their invisible state, but a direct hit from the decapitating slashes that merely grazed me a moment before would no doubt kill me instantly. No shit! From its vicious ferocity, lethal prowess, and odd obstinacy, to constantly aim for the neck, regardless of the angle. I concluded this blade to be that of a guillotine, much like the one in my dream. It was an instrument of executions that existed for the sole purpose of beheading its victims. I kept rolling and avoiding the decapitating blade, finding myself cornered by its incessant barrage of slashes. To be fair, I don't think I've ever saw this coming. The slashes, traces of which I felt on my skin, seemed haphazard and disorganized, hardly something I could attribute to a diligent kendo student like Kasumi. That, however, made them difficult to predict, and I soon found my body whittling down with each slash I failed to dodge. Each burning, freezing, and numbing slash that had hit me sent me another step closer to death. Surges of unnaturally intense pain ran through me. They were clad in deadly poison, which meant they weren't simply cutting my flesh. They reaped and devoured something far more basic, something fundamental for all living beings to exist. As such, even a mere graze would continue to rob me of life without halt, ultimately resulting in my death. Amidst the maddening pain and fear that made me want to scream, every single drop of falling rain felt like a storm in itself. No matter how much pain and fear I endured, that self-centered reason would not drive me to back down. And at this rate... Kasumi gave me a curious look when she realized that I'd stopped moving. There was no doubt that I'd die instantly if she attacked now, but I shut out my fear with all my might. For my heart burned with feelings far stronger than that. Those are my true feelings. Nothing else mattered.
俺のせいなんだろう。俺が変なやつだから、たまたま近くにいたお前がそんな目に遭ってんだろう。だったら、お前は被害者だ。
If only I hadn't seen it on that fateful day. Kasumi shouldn't have gone through any of this. She should have been enjoying her normal life the same way she always had. She did nothing wrong. She was sane. She simply ended up drawing the short end of the stick by getting caught up in this situation. And I was supposed to attack her for something like that? I couldn't use magic, superpowers, or hypnotism. If I was to render Kasumi powerless in her current rampage, all I could do is punch her or something. But I couldn't bring myself to do that. The one who put Kasumi through all this pain was me, so I couldn't resort to violence with her, no matter the reason. If my death could bring Kasumi back to normal, I would gladly bite off my own tongue. And this wouldn't end until I stopped her? Screw that! There was no way in hell I could do that. Not a chance.
目覚ましてくれよ。お前が正気になってくれたら俺何でも言うこと聞くから。正直たまにうざいとかうるさいとか思ってたけど、それでもお前には感謝してる。これ以上こんなものは見たくないんだ。かすみ、頼むから。
I wanted to believe that her lack of response meant that my voice was getting through to her, and that she had lost her willingness to fight. What was wrong with having the naive hope that she'd go back to normal once I reached out my hand and touched her on the shoulder? Even if... It resulted in this. My right arm was cut from the space between my middle and ring fingers all the way up to the tip of my shoulder. I needed to hold back my screams. Men weren't supposed to make a fuss. Yeah, it's not like you got your fucking arm torn to shreds or anything. No, you gotta freaking take it like a man. This pain was nothing. I took it as punishment for worrying all this time without ever noticing that she was up to what she was up to like a total dumbass. Oh, this is nowhere near enough. The spoiled brat needed to take responsibility for his actions.
追いかけて抱きしめて慰めてあげないと男が廃るってものじゃないの。
Agreed. Any bastard that ran away from this pain and fear was no true man. I was annoyed to be agreeing with her, but I'd come to realize what I had to do. I would get up right to Kasumi without hurting her, fear getting hurt, and embrace her. I didn't expect to earn her forgiveness with just that, but unfortunately with my brain all out of whack, that was all I could think of. I'd be damned if I let this end the same way it did with Shiro. I wasn't going to lose anyone else. The dearer you held something, the more painful it was to realize you'd never get it back once lost. Holding the wrist of my torn right arm, I slowly stood up. I'd already lost a severe amount of blood, but none of it mattered. I took a step. And another. Completely ignoring the flying invisible blade, I began to approach Kasumi. Even if my arms, legs, and even head were sliced off. I wasn't gonna piss my pants at the sight of this fake guillotine. If I was its true master, then it had no place acting like it was better than me.
女を盾に取るような真似してないでかすみを離せ。俺の方に移ってこい。そいつは何の関係もないだろう。
Right as I said that,
どうして
Kasumi abruptly began to mutter something.
なんでいつもそんなこと。
She spoke in such a quiet voice I had trouble picking it all up. But her tone carried energy, too. It felt nothing like the monotone manner of speaking she'd used up until now. She'd raised her chin, looked into my eyes, and...
どうしてなんでいつもそんなことばかり言うのよ。どうしてレンは私に気を使ってばっかり。やだよ、そんなの嬉しくないよ。
Kasumi uttered the words like in a delirium, but her voice was steady, a hint of a smile on her lips. Her eyes were still as hazy and lifeless as before, her expression lost on the boundary between sanity and madness.
ねえ、そんなに私空気読めてないのかな。大事なところであんたの邪魔とかしちゃうのかな。私じゃ役に立てないのかな。私にできることはないのかな。私があんたを助けることってできないのかな。
First off, I can guarantee you're not useless.
ちょっとだけ悔しいよ。何か悩んでるくせに教えてくれない？
Were those her true feelings?
シロいなくなっちゃったし、レン態度に出さなくてもきっと辛いんだと思ったから、私頑張ろうと思ったんだよ。だからいつも考えてたの。どうしたらレンは喜んでくれるのかな。どうしたらレンは笑ってくれるのかな。どうしたらレンは私を態度 よそよそしいんだもん。冗談でごまかしたって私分かっちゃうんだもん。私をすぐのけ者にしたり、そんなのは嫌だよ。
すみ。
The decapitating gale died down. My body might have stopped receiving wound after wound, but her words pierced my heart like a spear.
シローの時と同じだよ。関係ないって私に何も教えてくれない。ねえ、どうして？
That wasn't something I could answer, because I felt it was something that she couldn't get involved with. I'd never once taken her presence lightly. Ever. Quite the opposite. It was because I valued her that I...
同じだよ。私、いつも悔しかった。私はいつも蚊帳の外に置き去りで、シローとレイが羨ましい。
俺とあいつはお前がそんなこと考えるような。
それでも羨ましかったの。形なんかどうでもいい。ただ特別なんだってことが羨ましいの。憧れるの。私もそこに入りたかったの。だから頑張って頑張って頑張って頑張って。でもどうしていいかわからなくてわからなくてわからなくてわからなくて。だったらせめて私は自分にできることをやりたいって。何か一つ何でもいいから私にしかできないことでレンの力になれたらいいなって。ずっとずっとあんたが入院してから今までずっとそんなことを考えてたらね。
Kasumi sounded like she was about ready to break down in tears. There was nothing wrong with anything she'd said. She simply worried over not being able to find a way. Most people were like that. There was no easy way to tell what the best possible choice was in a given situation. Therefore, you consider foreknowledge supreme. As Kasumi wandered, lost and confused, which path of the unknown she ought to take. Whoa! Something extraordinary. Something that should have been left alone. Something no child of man should have lent an ear to, flooded into the crevice of her heart and mind like a venom.
私こんなになっちゃったよ。
My vision wavered. My breathing stopped. I found myself struck with the urge to rip my heart out of my chest. My rage had reached a critical peak. I gritted my teeth to the point of breaking them, causing cracks to spread all across my jawbones. I couldn't forgive myself for driving her to this state. And likewise, I couldn't forgive this powerlessness of mine. And so I made a heartfelt wish. A wish for power. Power that could save her. Oblivious to what that truly meant.
私今ならレンの力になれるよね。
She unleashed another decapitating slash. It approached the nape of my neck, rushing up from the lower left. I could clearly make out the trail left by the path of its slash from start to finish.
けど
I didn't dodge it. There was no need to. For this had belonged to me from the very beginning. I had to claim it for my own, in order to ensure that Kasumi never did something like this ever again. And so, what I heard next was not the sound of cleaving flesh, but that of Kasumi's astonished gasp. The invisible guillotine soaring through the air evaporated a split second before it reached my neck.
なんで
Once again, the invisible blade soared towards me from every angle imaginable, left, right, diagonal, or above, all at pretty much the same time, its only aim my exposed neck.
嘘。
In all honesty, I did nothing. But for some reason, the blade wouldn't reach me. I wasn't doing it consciously. I didn't try to make it happen. But right now, for some reason, as if it felt was completely natural. I caught the flash coming from the side of my slashed right hand, but my arm was not severed. Instead, the wound closed up around the blade, melding with it.
なんでどうして
I had no idea. However, there was one thing I could say for sure.
お前にこれ以上そんなことをしてほしくないんだよ。力にならずっと前からなってるよ。お前が分かってないだけで俺ずいぶん救われてる。
I wasn't lying. In particular, her presence over the past few days kept my mind stable. She was the symbol of the hopelessly boring yet wonderfully mundane day-to-day life I held so dear. A ray of sunlight I never wished to be robbed of.
お前がそこにいてくれないと俺は帰ってこれなくなる。だから頼むよ。お前はこっちに来ないでくれ。わがまま言って悪いけど、そうしてくれなきゃ俺はこの先。
Wouldn't be able to fight those freaks. Regardless of what it took, I wouldn't be able to teach those bastards a lesson for laying waste to our day-to-day lives.
じゃあ
Once Kasumi was up close, she looked up and into my eyes before continuing. Just for a moment, I saw a look of self-mockery on her face.
私はやっぱり蚊帳の外ってことじゃないの。
The moment she uttered that, all strength left her body. I reached out, catching her before she could fall.
なんかもうバカみたい。
Oh God! Our bodies were cold, perhaps due to the continuous downpour. Yet the little warmth that did reach me felt wonderful beyond expression.
ごめんな、本当。こんなことになっちまって。許してくれとか言えないよな。でも大丈夫だから心配するな。あとは全部俺が絶対なんとかするから。
レンのバカ。結局全然分かってないよ。
Well, I am the protagonist. I tend to be very clueless about these things.
私、あんたが一人で無茶するの。もうやどうして譲ってくれないかな。
仕方ないだろ。勝負なんだ。
I knew it to be a cliche, but I couldn't help but feel like this was the nature of men. They were cowards who would try to act tough, put on a show of false bravado, play it cool, and even take a bullet for a girl. I couldn't let it be the other way around. I wouldn't accept someone like that as a man, nor would I see any value in their lives. In the end, we found no answer for the endless argument between Kasumi's dissatisfaction and my wish. But the one thing I could say for a fact was that above all else, we both shared the same fear of losing that which we cared about. In that case, I had but one thing to do. I had no idea if she'd believe what I was about to tell her, given how many promises I'd broken until this point, but...
帰ってくるから。
Saying that, making a sworn oath was all I could do right now.
絶対俺戻ってくるから。お前はなんていうか留守守っててくれると助かるな。
もう勝手なことばっかり。ほんと面倒だよね。
I've been told.
だけどそんなレンだから私はきっと。
Kasumi's voice sounded peaceful now, almost like an evil spirit had been exorcised from her. As I held her in my embrace, I felt something from her body enter mine. It flooded into my cut right arm, sealing up the wound like it was driving a wedge into it. I felt the sensation of a foreign object entering my arm, the sensation of receiving power, coupled with the dread of no longer being truly human. More importantly, I was relieved that Kasumi no longer had it. I had no more reason to worry. Kasumi was no longer involved with this.
絶対勝手にいなくならないでよ。約束だから。
As Kasumi finally lost consciousness, I firmly embraced her body. So I would never forget her warmth. So I would never lose this resolve. Tonight, I'd obtained power and stepped out of the sunlight and into the shadow.
そして彼と彼女はつがいとなった。
That is where I'm ending it. Well, you guys weren't fucking kidding whenever I said that that one part was intense. No, apparently. Oh god. This is just gonna be intense. The visual novel. Oh god. Okay, so that's quite a bit to unpack there. So she was basically my thrall, being the killer, essentially getting me, I guess, quote unquote, experience points and leveling me up. Okay, that puts a lot. I'm still moderately confused, but now I kind of understand even more. But holy fuck, that image is going to haunt my mind. Good job. Well, at least this novel managed to hit my, my horror quota. Good. It's got the horror elements that I kind of like, and I'm greatly... It feels weird saying that I like being creeped out and grossed out by stuff like this. It feels weird saying that, but... Okay. Good job, Irae. I feel stupid that I think I mistook what Sakurai said. I feel kind of stupid, but then again, she did word it in a very particular manner. Oh my god. Kasumi was the killer.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think I know what I'm going to use for my thumbnail, so thank you all so much for watching God, I am shaking again. Damn it! Stop doing this to me, novel! Oh shit, there's a spider on my wall. Okay, thank you all so much for watching, and I'm going to go kill this spider. See you guys in the next video. Hello there, everybody. Sabato92 here, and if you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And hey, if you guys like my content, then maybe you'd like to check out another channel who I think deserves equal attention. So click that nightmare emblem and check out that channel, or go to the links in the description down below. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.